Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? I am Dave B. Sells Chevy, and it's a little gloomy day here at the dealership. It's a little cold, it's a little rainy, but I'm gonna brighten your day with this. A 2020 Silverado Crew Cab LT All-Star Edition, but most importantly, it has the 3-liter inline-6 Duramax turbo diesel. For $3,890, you can add this engine to either the LT, the RST, the LTZ, or the High Country trim packages on the Silverado. From what I've read so far, it's quiet, it's powerful, and we're gonna find that out today. When we're talking engines, we wanna know performance numbers, right? So this turbo diesel gets 277 horsepower at 3,750 RPM, and it achieves 460 foot-pounds of torque at an astounding 1,500 RPMs. Now let's compare that to the other engines. The V6 and all the V8s, they all achieve their peak horsepower over 5,000 RPM. And to compare the torque of this diesel engine to the 6.2-liter V8, that also achieves 460 foot-pounds of torque. However, it's at 4,100 RPM. So this truck must really just get up and go. We're gonna find out. We're gonna take it out on the road right now for a test drive and see what she can do. Also, the thing to note about this engine is the fuel economy. So you're getting 23 in the city and about 29 estimated on the highway. They're also linked up to a 10-speed automatic transmission, which is very precise and very smooth. You'll also get your engine block heater extension cord, and it actually plugs in down here at the bottom in a very convenient location right next to the tow hook. Now that we got all that out of the way, let's remote start it. I haven't heard this engine yet myself, so I'm pretty curious to see how it sounds. I'm gonna place the camera back here by the exhaust, and we're gonna start it up for the first time together. Now it sounds good, it sounds like a diesel, and what's awesome about Chevrolet product is they do a lot to keep the noise the engine's making in the engine compartment. So if you look, the whole firewall, it's all padded with a padded material to help isolate the noise and keep the noise inside the engine compartment. Also, if you look at the doors on all these Silverados, they're all sealed. You have seals on the inside of the door, you have seals on the outside of the door, along the top of the door. When you close the doors, they actually close inside the frame of the vehicle. So it helps isolate the truck from road noise and keep the cabin very quiet. And that's what I want to see on the drive right now. Like, what is it like? Is it loud in the car? Do you hear it? That's what we're going to experience, along with like the power and the transmission shifts and all that sort of stuff with this 3-liter inline-6 diesel. So let's go for a spin and see what you think. I wish it was a nicer day. It's pretty gray and cloudy out, but that's okay. We drive cars in the rain anyway, so might as well try it out while I have it here. I actually have an appointment coming in on this truck that wants to look at the 3-liter diesel. We had 3 of them in our other Schumacher locations, so we brought one down here yesterday. This way I'd have it here for him today to take a look at, and then once he's done, if he doesn't buy it, we're gonna send it back to that store. So it's a perfect time to get some video together for you guys and experience this truck firsthand. This one here is an LT model, and I'm not going to go through all the equipment and stuff like that. It is an all-star package. It does have like the bed protection package. It's a Z71. I'm just going to put all that on the screen right now so you can see what this particular truck has in it. But today's all about the engine and the drivability and the transmission and all that sort of stuff. As I drive down the bumpy road here, the Silverado is a very solid feeling truck. It's the same across the board. Just depends on what engine it is. Obviously this one being the diesel, so it's not going to drive any different. It's going to feel very similar to the other Z71 models that we offer. One thing I did do was I left the auto start stop system on. I am curious about that because a lot of our cars are very seamless. Like when you look at the Traverse and the Equinox and those cars, that auto start stop is very subtle. You know, it turns off and it turns back on, and if the radio's on, you know, you really don't even feel it or hear it all that much. You kind of get desensitized to it real quick. This one being a diesel, I'm thinking that it's gonna be a little louder, or it might be a little more noticeable. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop right here and see if it happens, if it goes into auto stop. We'll just watch our gauge here. There we go. All right, so the engine is now off. I have no climate control on, no radio on. I'm on the brake. Everything's still running. Let's listen in closely and see what it sounds like when I let go of the brake. Okay, so you definitely hear that diesel startup. I'm gonna do that again. Engine's off. Gonna let go of the brake. 3, 2, 1. So there's definitely a little bit of a delay. Actually, I'm gonna do that one more time. This time I'm gonna go from brake to gas real fast and see if there's any kind of a delay. We're in auto stop. I'm gonna go from brake to gas. Okay, so in my opinion, there is a little bit of a delay. If I was to own this diesel truck, the majority of the times I'm in it, I would go ahead and I would press that button to turn that system off. You know, it is not as subtle as a Traverse or an Equinox because it's a diesel. It's got that little cranking sound. You know, you're gonna hear that diesel kind of turn over and start up. So I would recommend turning it off actually in this vehicle. One thing I'll notice, I haven't felt a shift yet. It's a 10-speed automatic transmission. As of right now, it's super smooth. What I am noticing that even cruising around these parking lots, I'm sitting like right at 1400 or 1500 RPM, which is really right where you get peak torque, like I mentioned earlier. You know, we're hitting 460 foot-pounds of torque, and we're doing it at 1500 RPM, which is very, very low in the power band. Just gonna make a left here, a left at the light, and then we'll hit a little bit of highway to get it up to speed and see how she sounds and how she feels. One thing I like about the Z71 models, which this one is they have that gray tilt indicator. There's our DEF fluid gauge. So this does have DEF fluid, diesel exhaust fluid. And there we go. So that gives you your, you know, your tilt, your grade, and what drive mode you're in. Oh, wow, okay. Very smooth rollout of power. That was just from a rolling, you know, 10 miles an hour to about 50. About half throttle, which brought it to about 4,000 RPM. It looks like the truck would redline somewhere right over 5, according to the gauge anyway, the tachometer. But that was a real smooth rollout of power. This truck with this engine combination can tow, I don't know a specific model, I believe it's up to 9,300 pounds. I'm not sure if that's like the crew cab or the double cab or two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, I'll have to look. But up to 9,300 pounds with this motor. And the gas mileage that we talked about earlier is awesome. You're pushing, you know, almost 30 miles per gallon on the highway. Wow, this transmission shifts super smooth. That was from a rolling, you know, 10 miles an hour to 60. Diesel engines seem to hold the RPM range. So when I accelerated there, I accelerated up to about 4,000 RPMs. I was probably 3/4 of the way down on the pedal, and I just held the pedal at that point, and you can feel the shifts, you know, happening very smoothly, but the tachometer was still pretty much at that 4,000 RPM range. I'm gonna try it again up here at this light, because I really want to feel how it shifts. So we're gonna take this little turn here to the right, to the left, and then I'm gonna pass these cars as if I was passing on the highway. Right now we're doing about 40, speed limit's 50, so I got a little bit of room there. Yeah, I mean, this thing, the torque is fantastic. I wonder if I was going too fast and that's why she was flashing her lights? Or is there a cop up here? There's the cop. She was totally looking out for us. That's awesome. I was not speeding, by the way. I was doing about 59 miles an hour, which I guess is 9 miles over the limit. But it was just for acceleration purposes for the video. So I'm sure everybody watching every now and then goes over the speed limit a little bit. Stopped at this light. We do not have the engine going into auto start stop mode because we disabled it. The one thing I do have to figure out, which I do not know yet, I gotta do a little research. I read that these do have a diesel exhaust brake. Now on the 2500 series with that Duramax, there's a button down here for the diesel exhaust brake that you can turn it on or off. So there is no button. So either I have to make sure that it is standard equipment, or is it optional with one of the packages or something that you can get with the diesel. So I'm gonna have to look that up. If it is standard, then I guess there is no button and it's just programmed into the computer. You know, I'll do a little research on that. I'll pin a comment down below with the explanation of how that'll work. I'll pull it right from the owner's manual. So far, I'm impressed. You know, it kind of feels very similar to the 2.7 liter turbo, the gas engine, you know, which also has very good acceleration. It kind of feels similar to that. As far as noise, it's not loud, it's not overbearing. I don't have the radio on. Again, you can tell you're in a diesel, you can hear it, but it's not something that in my mind would be, you know, annoying in time. Like right now, just cruising in normal fashion, it's very quiet. Obviously under acceleration, you're gonna hear that diesel engine more, which to me, I think sounds cool. So I actually like it a lot. I'm giving this a thumbs up. I don't know how we'll do selling them. You know, Chevrolet's come out with like the Cruze diesel. We only sold a handful. They had the Equinox diesel. I think we only sold one, which is one that I actually sold with a customer that we did a factory order. And now we'll have this 3-liter diesel in line 6. It'll be very interesting to see how it sells for GM. I think it's a great option to have and a great addition to the lineup of engines offered. We definitely have a wide array, you know, between this and the 2.7 4-cylinder turbo and the V6 and then a couple of V8s. I highly recommend if you're looking for a truck, go check out the Chevy product. You know, I think you'll really be impressed. They ride great, they're quiet, you know, everything we're talking about. You know, it's just overall a very good truck. And I think it's definitely something to compare to Ford and Ram and, you know, everybody else out there. Now, of course, I would be saying that, right, because I'm a Chevy salesman, but it is what it is. You got to make the decision for yourself, but definitely look at all options that are available to you. Right now, we're cruising 40 miles an hour. Again, we're right in that power range of 1,500 RPM, maybe like 1,400. So as I roll on the power, it just has that torque you need to get moving. All right, this will be last acceleration before we get back to the lot. Maybe not. Guys, please, if you got any value out of this video, give it a thumbs up. It's much appreciated. If you want to see more product type videos with Chevrolet, obviously subscribe to the channel. And if you're into dealership life, like what is it like behind the scenes at a delership, I have like 65 or 70 videos up there right now, which is all like behind the scenes, what it's like to work for a dealership. So if that interests you, please check it out. In the meantime, I'm gonna go back in the office here, wait for my customer to show up and you know, have him test drive this truck and see what he thinks. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. And listen, check out Chevrolet.